Hi Flosstube, it's Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher. Today is July 18th, and I'm so glad to see you again. It's been a little while. Life's been busy. I sort of feel like we're at the airport in a layover waiting for the next plane to arrive. And you really can't go anywhere, but I have done a couple things that have helped lift that, maybe a little morale boost for me. So I'll share a few life updates. One of our kids came and visited for a bit. They're doing summer jobs and they're 5 hours away, so it's nice to see them every once in a while. And then I have one son in Oregon whom we see every once in a while as well. 3 of them are in college, 1 of them is out. And then I went and visited my friend Lori, textilist. She lives in Oregon full time now, and she lives in Oregon full time. And we just chatted and brainstormed and collaborated. We sketched some things out that we want to make and test out. We went to some fabric stores and had coffee. That's about it. We neither of us really go anywhere, so we're very low risk when leaving, and we always are respectful and wear masks. But it was really nice to spend some time with another stitcher for a few days. And my husband's very gracious. He doesn't mind. He doesn't mind if I see my friends every once in a while. So I do want to start with a few shout outs. I'm going to pick my notes up here. A few people that I watched since the last time we met. I watched the vintage cross stitch niche. Her name is Natalie, and she's really into samplers and stash. So if you like samplers, go check her out. I watched Birch and Lily, and that floss tuber is Amanda. I watched Bree's Stitching Stuff. And she has a whip parade. Her name is Bree, obviously. I watched the Forensic Flosser. I didn't write her name down, but I watched her before. She had a little bit of a break and came back and is doing more videos. So I watched her. And then Mountain Laurel Stitcher I also watched as well. And I watched a lot of my regulars, and honestly, I am weeks behind on Flosstube. So sometimes I'll watch the most recent one and clear out the older videos and just try to work my list down. I will link all these people below. Hey y'all, I'm going to insert this toward the beginning of the video. I got all the way done and forgot that I did not pick a winner for this sampler, the Traditional Samplers book by Brenda Keyes. So I'm going to go ahead and insert this toward the beginning of the video to let you know who won. So exciting. The Sampler Girl, new to your channel, your stitching is beautiful and love the older designs. How awesome is that? Congratulations. Please get in touch with me. I will put my email address below. And what else have I been doing? Stitching and more stitching. I have some whips to show you, some stash and a start. I'll show you a previous finish as well. And then sort of a new obsession. I blame it on Lori. But so I want to show you this previous finish. This is by Stacy Nash. I think this is Meet Me by the Garden Gate. I bought it as a kit, but you can buy it as a pattern. And I just put a little, I think they call this a gourd pin with some buttons on it. And the back has some, I think this is blackbird fabric. The ribbon is kind of a wonky ribbon that's ruched on there. And this is filled with sawdust from my husband's sawmill, portable sawmill up at our property. He just went up last weekend. He's been up 3 weekends in a row now. It's 6 hours away, so I don't go every weekend. But he loves being up there. It brings him peace, and he really enjoys milling the lumber and building the cabin. So he brought me back a bag full of this. And the sawmill sawdust is more finely granulated than the planed wood, which we have a planer here at our shop that is more of a shavings. So I really like the granulated sawdust. And I'm not sure if you bought it like at Lowe's or Home Depot or a cabinet making shop, what kind you would get. By the way, while I've been stuck in layover mode, in my sweats and t-shirts every day, going to Zoom meetings, going to Skype meetings for work, and working by myself, I haven't taken a lot of self-care. So today I got up, I I slept in a little bit. I got up, I tried yoga. I've never done yoga before. No, I did yoga one time. So I tried yoga. I drank some coffee and stitched for a bit and took a shower and put some makeup on. I had to make sure my makeup, my mascara would open. I thought it was probably dried shut. And I put my lips on for you today. And I wore a blouse that I wear to work that has lips on it. So I put my jeans on to make sure that they could fit, and they do. And so today I actually got made up for you. You know, the next time I shoot a video, who knows how many weeks it'll be. It'll probably be the next time that I get made up. So let's see what else. I had a couple of finishes. So the Stitch Mania smalls that I started a lot. I started a lot in May, and I have some others kitted up to start in July. I started one. I have a lot more that I wanted to start, but I started something else instead. You know, I must be half squirrel, because it's just like, oh, what's that? And I'm constantly distracted in my life. I did go back and pick up 2 smalls from Stitch Mania that I worked on while I was traveling up to the property and back. And then that same weekend, I just continued to stitch on these smalls, and I finished 2 of them. So the first one is a Plum Street. I don't remember the name of this. Maybe ever faithful, ever kind, firm, and generous be thy mind. Oh, this is one of those lessons. I don't know. That's one of the, she had released it now as a pattern, but it was a little kind of a semi-kit. Now, I want to point this out. This is on 40 count. So it's small, but it's so cute. This is thick with stitches. Like, this grass took forever. And then when you get the grass done, you're working your way up through the house. It takes forever. And you got the container for the flowers. They take forever. So this, no joke, there's a lot of stitching in here. It's adorable. And I think I'll finish it as a pillow. So that is first finish. The next one is a Little House Needleworks Old Glory. I don't know what happened with my measuring capabilities. I have no idea. Either I measured this out and I picked up the wrong fabric because I was getting them ready for Stitch Mania. That could be. Like, I could have a whip that's the wrong size fabric. I have to check that. But this one, I don't know. Wasn't even centered. I don't know what I did. Who knows? Old Glory by Little House. This is a lot of fun. This is stitched on lamb's wool. And I think this is, what is this? Is this 40 count? Stitches look a little bit bigger. I don't know. I almost ran out of pea pod, but I happen to have a second skein. So that'll be fun. That one for sure will be a pillow. That might be 32 count lamb's wool. Anyway, so those are 2 finishes. And I think those are my only finishes. But I'll tell you what I've been working on. So this one, I bought this when it came out a few years ago. I love Reflets de Soie. I just love it. I think their patterns are beautiful. I love French samplers. And so this I bought when it first came out, and I just love French samplers. This is G. Ledger, 1898. Deb from Country Stitchers is stitching it. She picked, I think this is charted in silk. Yeah, there's a Gloriana, and there's an overdyed Gentle Arts. And I don't know if they reprinted it, if they didn't have the overdyed. I don't know. But the whole controversy about this, if you will, is that the silks don't really look like the picture. And if you see the picture, sorry, there's a fly buzzing around my head. I have the door open. Behind you, the door from the outside is open because it's so nice out. But the colors don't necessarily look like the picture. So the colors, I went through overdyes and pulled like a lot of different skeins of thread and tried different things, kind of picked my palette. It is not a 1-for-1. So if the symbol, the heart symbol is like DMC 221, I think that's a red. And the overdyed that I pick is Louisiana Hot Sauce. Sometimes the heart signal is in Louisiana Hot Sauce, and sometimes it is cayenne, and sometimes it is Aztec red. It just depends on where I wanted to place the threads. So there are some people, I posted this on Instagram a few times and people have asked for the conversion. I will give you the conversion. I'm going to finish the piece first. I'm taking a lot of notes and I will try to make it clear and give the conversion when I'm done. So this is being stitched on 46 count. I think it's 46 count. Vintage Buttercream by Lakeside. I did run into a little snafu on one of the letters. If you look at this, there are some letters on here that are super light, a really, really light pink. Oh, and Michelle from the Striped Rose is working on it too. And the hard part about that is when you stitch it, you can sometimes see it in person if you stitch that light of a color, but when you look at it at a distance, it looks like there's a missing letter. So on this, there's enough aged dirt on that thread that you could still see it a little better. Well, I'm not gonna dirty my thread and then put it on there. You could. Deb is doing something pretty cool. She's using like a Q-tip and she's using tea to kind of make a shadowing effect. You could halo it, you can get it wet and let it naturally bleed. But mine is, I'm striving for the colors that are more in keeping with the actual picture. So you can see how that looks. And I did change this letter here, that's a Y, to a different color altogether. It's a pink, but it's more of a medium pink, and it is more of a salmony color, if you will. This has been so much fun. I have had so much fun picking colors for this, and I'm just picking them as I go. So it's not, I sort of have the key for what the conversion per symbol is, but sometimes I stray from that. But I'm loving this. It's a gorgeous stitch. So I was conflicted because as I was working on G Ledger, I also was thinking about this next one, whip, and how I can integrate maybe my stitch 10 and 20 projects into my rotation, if I have a rotation. And that's English Garden. This is by Samplers Not Forgotten. This is stitched on a 40 count Vintage Tundra by Lakeside. And the color with this palette is fabulous. I just love it. And what I ended up, I posted these two samplers on Instagram and sort of asked for some thoughts on which one to stitch on. And a couple people said, why don't you do a rotation? And I thought, well, duh, why don't I do a rotation? So I'm doing a weekly rotation. And this week I'm working on English Sampler, English Garden. And then I'll go next week and go back to G Ledger. But on this one, so far this week, I've basically done this whole section down here. And yeah, that's quite a bit of stitching. This weekend, I should be able to finish this section. I might even start on this. I stitch a lot. So much like Carol Saltbox Stitcher says, you know, she has a lot of hours of stitching. We're in empty nesters. I work from home right now. Even when I didn't work from home, I spent a lot of hours stitching. I love it. It's really my peace and solitude. I'm able to think through a lot of problems and just relax, put my mind in the right frame of mind when I am stitching on English Garden or whatever whip that I have on my Q-snaps. I do stitch with an 11 by 17 Q-snap on a lap stand when I stitch something that's this size. So G Ledger, this one, anything that will fit, I prefer to stitch two-handed with that 11 by 17 Q-snap. Now, I also stitch in hand. So all of the smalls that I stitch for Stitch Mania, I stitch in hand. If it's a 36 count or larger stitch, smaller count, larger stitch, I use a sewing method. I like Bowen 28 needles for my finer count linen, and so I find it difficult to stitch in hand on 40 count in this with the sewing method, so I just usually use the stab method. And a lot of times the smalls that I do are not on 40. A lot of times they're on 32 because I want the design to show. And even if I have a piece 28 that I like, I will stitch with 2 threads. It's not, or Ada, and a lot of times the smalls are that larger count, higher. I guess it's the larger count, smaller count, larger X. I feel like I'm translating when I'm speaking. Okay, so those are the 2 whips that I have been working on besides the 2 that I finished. I'm going to drop this on the side here. Here are the threads that I have pulled for G Ledger. Just, I have a lot. And I didn't use all these, but I just wanted some choices while I was, I'm going to do a peek while I was stitching it. All right, moving stuff to the side. In fact, I kind of like this setup because I have my space here and to the sides where I can drop things. Seriously. Todd called again. He had to drop off the previous call because one of my kids was having car troubles, and so he had to coach him through how to fix that. I don't even know what I said last, so it is what it is. Yeah, I've been storing my, what have I put in here? My whips have been in my Christmas project bag because I don't have the right seasons, enough of the right seasons yet. I've got enough project bags, though, quite frankly. I need no more project bags. But I didn't have anything in this one, so that's kind of a pretty one, isn't it? And it's got a fun little charm on it. You know, you can get these at, where did I get this? I think it was Hobby Lobby. They have a little Christmas end cap or free-floating display. It might have been Michael's. Michael's or Hobby Lobby. And they'll have Christmas charms and beads and just a little display in the middle toward the back. And I get them on clearance. Or I don't get them on clearance, and they're still, I mean, use a 40% off coupon there. There's nothing to it. All right, so move these to the side. I forgot to tell you about another whip. Sandbury Stitches, Becca, she has a Zoom group on Thursdays. It's been moved to Thursdays. It's closed, but the group is stitching, I can't words, right? We're stitching this. Teresa Kogut, CW sampler. Oh, Land That I Love. Lord Almighty. Land That I Love. A lot of people are stitching this. The Zoom group is stitching it, and I chose 40 count vintage navy bean, and I'm starting on the lower left. I started this when I was at Lori's, and I could not get anything done. It felt like I just stitched on this and just puttered around and really didn't get anything done. What I appreciate is that this is all in DMC, and it's really pretty. And here's the flosses. And the DMCs are the reds. The reds, the light colors, the blues, and the blues, the browns, the grays are Weeks. And I would say that for overdyed flosses, I love Weeks blues and greens. The blues and greens, I go to Weeks. I love theirs the most. I have a couple of classic colorworks. They have some nice colors too. Chesapeake Bay, Blue Corn, and Mariner's Compass. Havana, Dolphin, and Fathom, I think. Yep, are the Weeks colors. So I did start that. Now, I was supposed to also start with Swanky Sim on Instagram and Vanessa Flamefingers on Instagram. Then Sweet Land of Liberty. I was working on those smalls. So I do have a conversion kitted up. And I am going to stitch this on, this is 40 count, I think this is parchment. If I had to guess, it looks like parchment. And I have decided that I'm only going to stitch the middle section. That's the section I really like on here. And then I'm not going to stitch the blue. I'm going to stitch this section with the lady and the 2 bouquets or flowers. And then I'm going to change the border so it wraps around. And I probably will keep like the white line and not the blue or anything below this. So it's okay not to stitch the whole thing. You know, it's okay to take a piece of it out or to change it. That's really the part that I liked about this. And I've got a lot of things I want to stitch. So I'm okay with it. And I need to start that this month. What else? I think from here on out is all haul. All the haul, y'all. So do you want to see some stuff? Yeah, I've got a few things. I saw this, I think somebody was stitching this on Instagram. This is Heartstring Samplery Rachel Holmes by Buck Twist. And this would fit really nicely in my rotation with English Garden and G Ledger because the colors and the content are similar. To me, they sort of have that whimsical, beautiful look about them. All of her Etsy store purchases are PDFs now, which is great because if you can import it to Pattern Keeper, or you can do what I do and just print it out and stitch it from the printed copy. I haven't tried Pattern Keeper. I'm going to. I keep telling myself I'm going to do that. I just haven't done it yet. What else? I had an order from the attic come in, and you know, it's hard to get threads right now, but be patient. They sent me the sampler conversion for Newcastle Sampler by Teresa Kogut, and it's all silk. It's gorgeous. It is dinky dyes and gumnut and bell swap. I'm not going to tell you what they are. If you want them, call the attic and get their conversion. What else did I pick up? I went back and forth on this one. This is with a specific Facebook group who had Blackbird Designs created this beautiful pincushion. It's a kit. I'll put the name of the Facebook group below. It's Homespun something or other. I hadn't belonged to it before, but when I saw it, I went back and forth. It was a little expensive. But I want to support our designers and our Facebook groups where people do a lot of work to bring beautiful things to us. This came from the Quilter Station. And it's stitched on, it looks like a picture of this plus, although I don't know what it is. But here is the thread selection. I haven't opened this yet, or I would show you what it looks like. But this is United We Stand by Blackbird Designs. And I'm sure in the future they probably will release that as a standalone pattern. I watched Needles, oh, what is her name? Runs with Needles and Scissors. I'll put it here. Sylvia. She's in Germany. She also has a lot of samplers on her videos. If you want to be wowed with samplers, check her channel out. She made me go buy some You and I and Friends patterns. Teresa Kitten Stitcher had these. This is the teaching sampler, and it is gorgeous. I'm sorry this is not very focused. That's as good as it gets because this picture is tiny on here. But the content is gorgeous, and I can't wait to stitch that. So pick that up. I also love a monochromatic. So Misty Purcell from Luminous Fiber Arts did this Gathering Berries. Really liked that chart. Isn't that sweet? She does great stuff. I really like Misty's patterns and her fabric. The Berry of the Quarter, whatever, the Berry Club from Dying to Stitch. Erica Michaels designs, Expect Less. Isn't that true? Well, how very timely is that? Expect Less. And I picked up, I think this was on eBay, the Martha Smith sampler by the Scarlet Letter. Can I tell you how much I love the Scarlet Letter? Look at the sort of motif on the bottom. That cartouche looks like it's the shape of an outline of a butterfly, sort of. I really like this, but I think I'll update the colors on that. And then I also picked this up from the attic. This is the Eliza Hill sampler by Handwork Samplers. And that, I think they showed Tanya from the Scarlet, is it Scarlet House? I should know that. Scarlet House Designs, I think, was stitching this on some old fabric, camel fudge or something like that. that I think is being re-released. So if you look at her Instagram page, she stitched it and showed it. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And I need to tell you about a couple. So this is sweet. I should have showed you this before I started showing my purchases, but a friend of mine, someone I met over 25 years ago, we worked together at the same company, and she was at training and I was at training, and we were in Oregon, and we just had an instant connection. And she and I, my husband, went to like a honky-tonk bar one night. I don't know why we went there, but we probably ate there and hung out for a bit. And then that wasn't the day before we had a lot of technology. So she went back to her office, I went to my office, and we didn't really ever connect again that I can recall. And so through Instagram and Flosstube, one day she messaged me and she said, "Are you the person that used to go to Oregon and we went to a honky-tonk bar one night?" And I thought, oh my gosh, Kathy made me the sweetest little fob. Let me show you this. Are you not dying? Look at that. It's got my initial, some scissors, and made with love. Scissors charm. These are my scissors. These are my old Dovo scissors. I've had these for 20-some years. They finally really just need to be sharpened before I can use them again. But that's so adorable. And then she made out of a little bobbin a teeny tiny little tomato. Is that awesome? Thank you, Kathy. That was so sweet. So the rest of this, oh no, I do have one more thing to show you. Did I show this last time? I don't remember. This is Sarah Knowles. What can you say? I love me a red sampler. With birds and flowers, I'm all in. Sarah Knowles, age 7. Age 7. December, there's a little R on the top, 5th, 1846. 1846. I am just hoarding these. I'm telling you, I'm hoarding these because I've got plans. That's all I've got to say about that. When I was with Lori, we were out, we stopped in Sisters, the town of Sisters, Oregon. The Sisters, Oregon has the largest outdoor quilt store, I believe, in the United States. I'm sorry, largest outdoor quilt show. And because of COVID, they didn't have it this year. Thousands of people come. And they're all hung out on the buildings outside. It is amazing. It's amazing. I'm going to insert a picture of a previous show that I went to many years ago. They make a poster every year. I'll just insert that right here. So the artistry and the different types of quilts is amazing. The firemen come out in the morning and they hang them from the highest parts of the buildings that need to be hung up high. And the rest of them are hung by volunteers. There are classes by quilt artists and quilt teachers, and it's awesome. So we went out and did some patronage with the stores who were not having the level of, tourism that they normally have this time of year. And I had picked up this Save the Stitches. This is a table runner, which will go on my buffet, my side table in my dining room. The stitching quality on this is exceptional. It's embroidery, but the stitches are so neat and tidy. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And it was very reasonable. I paid nothing for it, you know. The shape is great. It's really neat. Her Lazy Daisy stitches are beautiful. I really appreciated that. And I picked up this little fun square. This is an old quilt square that wasn't put together. So sometimes we have those things laying around. Maybe you as a quilter have some that didn't work. And so just made this into, it looks like it could be a pillowcase, but it's not. It's just a doodad you can lay down, or you can pin it to the wall. Yeah, so I love that. And then we went to a quilt store, a few quilt stores, and one of them has this thing called Tilda quilt fabric. Tilda is from, the designer is Tone, T-O-N-E, and the last name is Finninger, or Finninger, F-I-N-N-A-N-G-E-R. And her line is called Tilda. It's very whimsical, beautiful fabric. And I think Lori and I had seen a book before when we were at a store, and I didn't buy it, but Lori did. And so when I saw this fabric, which is very hard to get, I about died. So of course I bought some. And I did do a flip through of a few books on Instagram, but I'm going to just show you the books. So this is Sewing by Heart. And the quilts in here, first of all, her color palette is very fresh. And she has not just quilts, but she has smalls, all kinds of smalls in there. And there's a couple in here that I really want to make. There's one. So she has sort of some bright, clean, clear, beautiful quilts. And even you could sew, this is relief applique or reverse applique. She's got some amazing stuff. This, I died when I saw this. Yeah. I really want to sew that. And you know, applique was in my future this year. I haven't done it yet, but I did buy these little tools that Lori recommended. It's called Appliquick. They look like two long chopsticks, but it makes, I guess, a world of difference. Look at this rabbit. Isn't that cool? I mean, geez. Okay, let me just find the one that I really want to stitch in here. This quilt that I really want to sew. See if I can find a full... It's got birds and they look almost like sunflowers. I love it. Okay, so this is Sewing by Heart. This is her name. It's Tilda. So I posted some pictures on Instagram and I got some Insta stories and I had a lot of people respond. There are closet Tilda lovers out there too. I picked up on Amazon Tilda's Winter. And she just, I mean, she's so creative. She has, look at this guy. Is that not hilarious? I love that. It's like a gnome Santa. And beautiful bags. And just all kinds of great things. This one, Tilda's Christmas Ideas. Pick that one up, yes. This is, everything in here is gorgeous. And the fabric line, I don't know if I can find any of it anymore, but even, so look at these snowmen under cloches. Oh gosh. And these, I have a ton of these. I'm just going to go have to make some of those. Then Homemade and Happy. Tilda. This has, these are all more neutrals, which is kind of fun. She has owls. I love them. Owls, and I wish I could flip this through with y'all. This one I can't wait to make. And you can substitute. It doesn't have to be her fabric. I've got lots of fabric in my stash where I can make some of these things. Look at this pin cushion. Are you not dying? Look at that. Hexies. Oi. There's something else in here I wanted to show you. I'm not sure. Anyway, so those are the books that I bought. And so here's some of the fabric. Her stuff. Rabbits. I bought some of these to make project bags, but I'm not sure that they'll make a project bag. Isn't that gorgeous? That would be the inside, outside, and here's the inside. Outside, inside. It may end up in a quilt though. And then I bought some clearance fabric, and I ended up sort of with this sherbet. I would call it a sherbet type of a palette. These were all sale fabrics. They were like $6 a yard. And then this is Super Bloom by Edita Sitar of Laundry Basket Quilts. This is her most recent line. And sort of this aqua inside. And then we saw this one. Lori got some of this too. This is a I know somebody will ask me. Oh, please. This is a motive fabric, and it's Memoirs by Three Sisters is the line. Sort of what I ended up buying piecemeal everywhere ended up being a whole thing, right? So I might just make a quilt first and then see what I have left over for project bags. Although this one I think I will make into a project bag. That, and then here's the inside. Is that not beautiful fabric? Holy cow. All right, so that was one store. I did buy some other stuff that I will make into project bags, and I want to show you those. This, love that. Okay, you know, red and aqua. And then this one I bought, I had some similar fabric last year, and these just flew out of my bag. My bag sales. That, and here's the inside fabric. So those will for sure be project bags. And then this Super Bloom fabric is the dark with the big flowers. And then this interior fabric is a Minikin. No, is this Minikin Simpson? No, this is Crown Imperial by Victoria and Albert Museum. Who knew? So that'll be the inside material. I did get some backing fabric. This is a Minikin Simpson material. It's 108 inches. So I picked up some for the back of the quilt. And then this one you're going to love. Look at these guys. The chicks, the donkey, the cow, the two pugs wrapped in a scarf, the cats, the golden retriever. What else? The birds, the llama. Look at the llama. So I bought as much as I could of that, and that for sure will be project bags. I forgot I did pick up this Tilda Santa. And there's another one that goes with it, Mrs. Santa. The last thing I picked up was from Gordon and Milk Mix Quilt Shop. It's a buttermilk basin quilt with wool applique on it. And here's the colorway. Black, orange, and gray. See what happens when I don't make a video for a long time? I end up with so much stash, it's almost embarrassing. But I did have some stitching to show for you. What else? Oh, I was on eBay. I gotta stay off of eBay, stash and load. And I saw this in a fireplace screen. And I told the guy, he's from England, I said, how much would it be to ship to the US? And he just groaned. He said, well, I was hoping somebody from the US wouldn't ask me. The shipping was astronomical. So I said, I really don't care about the fireplace screen. I don't have one where I would put that. It's not really my style. Can you take it out? He did, and we worked out a shipping price. But this is a wool. It's an $18.98, but look at those birds. They're like having a conversation. Is that not hilarious? The owl and the, I don't know what kind of bird that is. He's like whispering a secret. So I think maybe I'll reproduce this, but I might do a couple things like, I might do this in Halloween colors. Wouldn't that be fun if it make this a crow instead of that bird and have him whisper to the owl some sort of a Halloween secret? But the letters are also amazing on here. And these flowers. The name on this, I can't quite tell. I think it's Annis, A-N-N-I-S, Smith Murray. And it says 1889, and I can't tell, oh, September 11th, 1889. Yeah. So the collection continues to grow. Pretty soon I'm going to have to buy a house for my stash and my samplers. My husband can come visit me. I'll have a studio. I'll call it a studio, right? Y'all can visit me in my studio. We could hang out and drink coffee, and if you like to sew, we could sew. If you like to sit out in the garden, we could sit in the garden. Wouldn't that be fun? We could just chat, right? Enjoy beautiful things, create. That's my idea of heaven right there. Well, I hope you all have a great week. I missed you. Really glad to see you again, and I'll see you next time.